I am less concerned about the robbers than I am the policeman in this particular case. Pat doesn't agree.
Yeah, I'm in a different place. I don't like the selling of my information without my permission. No, I don't like that.
Hang on just a second.
I don't think you have any right to sell it to everybody else.
I don't like it either.
So I don't like the bill.
Okay, so hang on just a second. Let's be careful with you don't have a right to sell the information, because where do rights come from? That's not a God-protected right that somebody can do business with you and then not sell your information. You don't have a God-protected right on privacy between you and a business.
Don't I? Why not? Why don't I?
You have an assumed compact. You don't have a right. You have a right?
I'm not sure that's true. Yeah, it's my stuff. Now, if I choose to do business with Google, then I'm doing business with Google. That doesn't mean I want you to sell it to Yahoo.
Yeah, but no, wait. Hang on just a second. Let's separate.
You don't think there's a right to privacy?
There is a right to privacy.
There is a constitutional right to privacy in my mind.
Right, that the government, remember, the government cannot come in and just take things and spy on you. When I do business, when I walk into a sandwich store, I have an assumed compact of privacy that when I walk into that sandwich store, the baker is not going to go, hey, John, Glenn walks in here every day and he eats a sandwich. And you know what I see him reading? I see him reading this book. You want to sell your wares to him? He's a target for you right now. That I would not call the police. That is where I would go to the sandwich maker and say, did you just tell him that I come into your store every day and I'm reading this book, and so you told him that he should try to sell me his product because I was a prime target? Dude, I'm not eating in your sandwich store anymore. That's wrong.
Yeah, but everybody's going to do this now. Now that it's okayed, everybody will do it. There'll be nobody who doesn't do that.
Right, but what I'm trying to get to is you do not have a right. Now, if you want that to stop because every sandwich store is doing that, that's when you need to involve the government and say, hey, every sandwich store I go into, I cannot go into a sandwich store without them taking my information. But there are sandwich stores who are making their bread and butter saying, hey, I'm a sandwich store, I'll never sell it. It's not the government's place to tell me or tell a government or tell a business to do something or to not do something that I don't like. I stop doing business there.
I think the market, too, has addressed this in some ways. There are, as you point out, Firefox. I think Dogpile is the one that's similar to Google but doesn't store any information. There are other options, and they're usually only used by people who really care about these things. And Pat, I think, is certainly one of them. But, like, you know, almost every browser today has an option for private browsing. And you can go on private browsing, and what you will get from that is the experience you're talking about. Yes. No cookies. They will never customize any of your searches to what you're looking for because they're not storing your data, they're not storing your searches on that.
I've done that so many times, and I always leave because it sucks.
It sucks.
It's not tailored to me.
They're not tailored. They don't know what you're looking for. It doesn't work. So, and again, like, I don't think, because I think there's a line between, because I think Pat's totally right in that, like, who the hell would want that to happen? I don't want it to happen in theory, especially web searches seems even more invasive than, you know, even email, you know, because who knows what you're searching for, Jeffy, on the web.
No, seriously. I mean, you say about Dogpile, I think you should just name it wheretoburyacorpse.com. Right. I mean, that's what you think of when I don't want people tracking. Well, why? What do you have to, you know, because they could take things that, you know, you're searching for. Think of the things that you have searched for that are completely innocent, that if you took over 5 years. Yeah, right. Not you, Jeffy. You take over 5 years, you take 100 searches that you've done because you're reading a book. All of a sudden, I can make you look like a serial killer. Sure. I mean, and it's risky. I just don't know if the government should be in the business of doing that. I mean, because, you know, doing what?
Of regulating that. That should be something that comes between the person and the company, in my opinion.
I would like a company that says to me, I would like Google. Here's the real solution. I'd like Google to come to me and say, hey, to be able to upgrade to give you the system that you like, we'd like to be able to sell this information to other parties. If you want to opt out, opt out. I mean, not opt out. Would you like us to, may we do that with your information to enhance your experience? Yes, no. I personally would like them to say opt in and allow me to opt in. Mm-hmm. Now that's going to cut down the information they can sell, but so be it.
Probably still get plenty.
But it's not something the government should go into any business and say, you can't run your business that way. You can't make money that way. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have a right to the internet.
Right.
So do we have a right for to have a certain browsing ability on the internet?
This is not a, and this is the real problem. Is Google a utility or a company? If it's a public utility, well then the government's going to regulate it all at once. And I can guarantee you it won't be like Google, but it will regulate all kinds of stuff because that's what governments do. If it's a utility, if it's a private company, you don't like it, go to another company. We just don't like to do that because Google has gotten so good. They give us everything we want. We want that and our own personal things. But our own personal things, when we say no to that, it's what made Google Google. It's like people move from California and they're like, I love Texas.
It didn't make Google Google by selling it to Yahoo. That's not what made Google Google.
Google has been selling stuff and information forever.
That may be, but I don't want them to.
Right, but
I don't want them to.
It is what made Google Google. They sold the information to other people. That's how they made everything free.
No, they're Google because they use that information themselves.
Yes, but
that's what makes them them.
But they've also sold it to people for years.
Well, they may have. I don't want them to. I don't think they should be allowed to do that.
Well, then you should say to Google, why are you saying to a private company?
This is a bizarre place for a group of conservatives to say that we don't care about our constituents' privacy. Go ahead and do whatever you want with it. That's bizarre.
I find this bizarre.
That's bizarre.
I find you saying a private company is going to be told by the federal government how to behave.
There are things the government's supposed to regulate. There are
privacy.
Certain things that the government does. This is one of them to me.
Privacy between you and another exchange that you do that has nothing to do with the government is not one of them. Especially if you're going to the.
I think it is.
Where is it in the Constitution?
I think it is. We have a right to privacy.
With the government. The government. The government. It doesn't say that. That has nothing to do with private industry. That is a private contract between you and the others. It doesn't.
I don't have a contract with Yahoo. If I'm searching on Google, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Well, if you're searching with Google, you're probably right. You don't have a contract, but you have an implied contract.
Right. It's like when people call up to the show, their implied contract has this girl. They might go on the air.